Hello, 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 everyone. If you can see us, please send a chat so that we know that you can see and hear us. Okay, can you see us? Can you hear us on YouTube, on Facebook? Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I'm looking forward to someone chatting to say I hear and I see you. I'm trying to see if I can check that out myself. Okay, I can see on YouTube that we are live. Okay. I'm not sure of Facebook, but I think we should just go. Yeah, we're live on Facebook. Thank you. Okay, I think we should just go on. Yes, welcome, welcome, and thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Asher, for joining me today. It seemed like, maybe because we're a week late, people will join in later. But yeah, I think we should just go on. Okay, thank you once again for accepting my invitation and for being a part of this glorious journey with me. And for those who might be joining for the first time, Ikeoluwa Akano is my name, and like I always say, I'm irrevocably passionate about the marriage environment. I believe that, or family life, I think, let me make it easier. I strongly believe that, we can have a healthy, fruitful, and fulfilling married life. And yeah, the only thing is that it's not, it will not just jump on us. We will not just get hands laid on us and then everything fixes itself. It takes intentionality, it takes preparation for those who are yet to get married. It just takes a whole lot, and I believe that we need to begin to pay attention to that. Earlier this year, I started to have a burden in my heart. It seemed like, particularly, I mean, like, it feels like we get married or people get married and we are sort of underutilizing the covenant of marriage. Like, I strongly believe that marriage is a multiplier, meaning that if we were whatever we were before we got married, we should be operating in multiples of that in marriage. And I realized that for some reason, a number of people are just not maximizing that environment. And I remember that year I woke up and someone had sent me a message about a particular celebrity whose marriage was breaking. And then the same person, or maybe another person, sent me another one. And I'm like, no, we cannot let social media continue to, you know, dictate what marriage looks like to us. There are people who are living this Eden life. They are not perfect, but they are working towards making their marriage work. And working towards it, it does not mean that they are literally making it like a chore, but they are basically enjoying walking and walking towards their marital journey. So today is another opportunity to have a healthy and beautiful conversation with a very lovely couple, Mr. and Mrs. Olakule and Olushe Ashiru. And yes, please welcome them with me, celebrate them in the comment section. Let me hear, I need to see your comments or welcome them with me because I can't see. Yeah, I'm looking out for, yeah, let me see someone just say you're welcome. You're welcome. Where are you? Where are people today? Oh, Jesus Christ, help us. Okay, while we're waiting for them, um, basically is that, yeah, so welcome and thank you for joining me today. In the next 1 hour, we're just going to be having a conversation around your journey. We want to learn from you. How are you doing this, right? And I also saw that someone had sent you a specific question, which I'm going to share with you towards the end of the session. But right now, it's just, yes, thank you. Yes, I see you. I see my dear Dr. Grace. Okay, So we're just gonna be I'll be asking you questions, and then we will be learning from you and hearing from you how your journey has been.
Okay.
The goal and the agenda is simple. Marriage is beautiful, and we want to hear how it's been beautiful for you so that people can learn from you. So just before we get into maybe the current state where you are in your journey, can you tell us, let's kick off with some kind of basics. Like, tell us, how many incredible years does your We Did It journey cover? Maybe I should ask this question at a stretch. So how many incredible years does your We Did It journey cover? And then, more importantly, take us to the very beginning. Like, where did the story officially start? And then maybe, tell us some specific events that you probably you have never told anyone. We want to hear it. Gist us
Hmm.
about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So if you can figure that out.
That's how long we've been married.
Ah, that's a code though, Mr. Lakuli. I didn't even get it. Please.
10 times. Oh, me. So my error. My bad.
Oh,
10 times 2.
two. Oh, wow. 20 amazing
Okay.
years. That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
awesome.
So we're 20 years
Yes.
in
20
December,
years in
in a few
December.
months. Yes.
Wow. Yes. So we are in for a glorious journey today. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Amen to
tell us
that.
about it. So tell us, how has your journey been, or take us back to where it began. Like, tell us some part of the story that some of us might be hearing for the first time today. You know.
Okay. I leave it to him.
In the Garden of Eden,
Ah,
there was there was Mr. Lakunle and Mrs. Oluche. No, I'll try and summarize it, right? I remember clearly that I used to lead a youth fellowship back in our home church back in Nigeria then,
mm,
and I had just gotten burned from a relationship,
mm,
So for like 2 years, I was like off the radar. I guess that's the word. And I was kind of looking to settle down, you know, and I kept asking the Lord and saying, and I didn't want to make a mistake in marriage,
mm,
right? Um, I had a few good examples. My parents, even though not Christians, I think had a very, I don't want to say perfect, but had a good marriage, right? And then I had known or read a lot about marriage, right? And so when it was just that time, I remember just telling myself and saying, okay, it's time. Where's the what do I call it? Cinderella, the lead princess Rapunzel,
aw,
yeah. But God has a funny way of. So I went for a Miles Monroe program. He was in Nigeria then,
mm,
and as he was speaking, it was just as if he spoke directly to me, and it was like the Lord is saying, if you focus on my business, then I'll get you a wife, or I'll focus on getting you settled.
mm,
And at that time, I was just like, okay, I'm stopping the search, even though there was pressure on every side. My
mm,
mom, the mothers in Israel in church, if you know what I mean, you know, and all that. Yeah, I was just getting into my 30s. So I just said,
mm.
you know what? Okay, that's it. No more searching. And I just focus on the Lord's business. And literally speaking, the Lord dropped her right into my laps. And yeah,
Wow.
maybe we'll get into it. It's a prolonged story, and I don't want to. Maybe some other questions will lead to
Mhm.
it. But the summary was that I went looking for a house and I found a wife.
Wow. I love that. I love the summary. Amazing. Do you have anything to add to that gist? He
I'm
said
gonna
you
start
dropped on his lap. Please tell us,
exactly.
explain to us how you
Literally,
dropped.
Yeah.
literally. It was very interesting because I mean, he had come to rent the house, and it was our house. We're living in the same building, but like how you like a building in front. We're living there, and there's a building at the back. And so he had come in to want to rent, and so he comes into the office. My mom was the in charge of doing the rentals. She's a lawyer by profession and all of that. And so he had come in, and as soon as he stepped in the door, I didn't know him from anywhere. I heard clear and clear, maybe this is your husband. I was like, I don't understand. A random human being walking into an office. What does that even mean? But just I shut that voice down. And then
Hmm.
because I was doing holiday job. I finished university, just helping my mom with her at law office. So I was a receptionist and all of that. And so I could hear from where I was sitting the conversation between my mom and him. And they're like, oh, tell us about yourself. Why do you want to get a house? And then he mentions his name. And my mom says, who's your dad? Apparently, his dad and my dad were friends. They had known each other. Of course, I didn't know him from anywhere. Like, see what I mean? They had done some work together in the past. And so, of course, it would just seem like the choice that made sense to rent a house to somebody you already know, that kind of thing. And that's how he started living there. So we are just became like, oh, family friend kind of thing, right? That's kind of like how we met. It was so interesting.
And she used to pretend to come and just take care of me and watch over me. But she was
Oh,
but she was you're muted, we can hear you.
No, I can hear.
me? Can you
Yeah,
Oh,
hear
yeah,
okay,
me?
yeah, I
yeah,
can
we
hear
can,
you
yeah.
now. Yeah.
So she used to pretend to just
Say,
come
oh,
check
let's just come and check
check
on
on me, yeah, with her
you
sister and say, let's see if he's
and see
doing
how you're
Our
fine
sister in the
and
doing.
all
Lord.
that. I
That's
know, I know
amazing.
I
the
was pretending. By the way, I'm just being a good person, looking
Mm,
out for a family friend. All right, that's it.
amazing, amazing. You will tell us how more of the looking out you are still doing till date. Oh, so
No.
beautiful to hear. And one thing struck me as you mentioned that when you met him, God has said to you, that may be your husband. That line seemed very familiar because I remember when I was making, I'm not even sure what I was, making. Is it just laughing about how my husband dressed the first time we met? And it's not like I knew how to dress either at that time. But I was just really now saying, oh, see the way he was talking, he tucked in his shirt. I can't even remember what I was saying, and I can't tell what exactly why I was saying that because it obviously wasn't something reasonable,
Mm-mm.
But as I was saying that, what I heard in my heart is that that could be your husband, And I'm like, really? And I was sure of what I heard. Like, I'm just like at a bus stop. Anyway, it's not about me today, but that line sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So, thanks for sharing that. So, can you
Mm.
share? Okay, o- okay. If your I Do Journey is a best-selling book, basically chronicling your years together, what is the perfect title of that book? And maybe like in one sentence, what is the tagline that explains your why?
Okay, I'll let my husband speak. Say his own and I'll say mine.
no, you say your own
I should say
first.
mine first, okay. Um, Honestly, for me, it would just be holding hands with Jesus, a journey of absolute trust and surrender. And I say that
Hmm.
because, like I was sharing earlier, like we don't really know what the future could be. So, like, no matter how much you prepare, no matter how much you spend, no matter how many years you spend with somebody, right? Even in courtship, if you spend the next 15 years in courtship with somebody, you can never ever tell or know what the future will hold. You don't know what challenges will come your way. You don't know the things you have to go through together as a family, but you trust God that the choice He's made for you is the right choice. And so
Hmm.
you follow His will. And then as it unfolds, you start to say, oh, no wonder God told me this. No wonder God told me that. And the reason I say that is because it's actually our journey as a family. Everything that we've done, everything that the Lord has helped us to do, has been that trust. And God has led us into beautiful spaces just by trusting Him. Yeah.
Amazing. Do you agree with that, Mr. Lackley?
Yeah, mine will be
Absolutely. Hmm.
Stranded on Love Island, my wife, my Bible, and I.
Oh,
I
amazing.
always tell people that if I got stranded on an island for just any reason, I mean, not like for a long time, for whatever, maybe if something happened, just make sure my wife is there, make sure I have a Bible, and probably some other books to read, and I'll be fine.
I'm dancing. I love that. I love how that sounds. Okay. Okay. So, could you describe a moment when you realized that your spouse is God's given gift? Oh no, that your spouse god-given gift was not just an individual blessing but was essential for your fulfillment and the success of your partnership. Let me take that again because I think I missed a part of it. Describe the moment when you realized that your spouse god-given your spouse's God-given gift was
Mm.
not just an individual blessing, but was essential for your fulfillment and the success of your partnership.
Mm.
And I think you hinted that already, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said that I summarized because I knew that some of your questions will probably lead to that, right? So, like I said, at a point in time, same thing too. One day, as usual, they had come to, in quote, take care of me, right? And I had, so hearing God, again, is not very specific. I can't say I hear, or let me put it this way. I can say with a certainty that I've heard God very clearly on about 3 or 4 occasions. That's without doubt. It's God speaking to you. Other times, we're not sure. Is it the still small? Is it the enemy? Is it somebody else talking? But I
Mm,
remember lying down there and the Holy Spirit spoke to my heart and said, have you considered her? The same thing. And in my mind, the first thing in my mind was no way, right? And I struggled with it for so long. But
mm,
one day again, I'm a couch person. I like to lie down, either on the couch or on the carpet. That's just me. And I was lying down again on the floor. And I remember I just released and I just said, okay, you know what, Lord, I'll do it. And
mm.
for the first time in my life, if not the only time to date, I actually experienced what the Bible says, peace, um,
Yeah,
uh,
passes all understanding.
peace that passes all understanding. I just felt that sensation of peace. Like, okay, the Lord said this and you agreed. And when I say I struggled, I'm talking a period of months here, right? But when I just finally said in my mind that, okay, Lord, I'll go ahead, right? I had that peace all over me. So I think that was,
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots more we'll talk about, but that was the key moment for me.
I think that
Amazing.
for me, it's interesting because the kind of person that I am, I like, I'm a go, go, go. I go, go, go. Right? I'm always on the move and all of that. And so, of course, my husband is very calm, very collected, very, very chill. Like he plans, he's an architect by profession, okay? So everything must be designed first in his mind before he actualizes it. Me, I am actualizing it and I'm designing as I go. All right.
Mm, mm,
And so for me, it was realizing that your go 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 needs 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 a check. Your go go
mm.
go needs a check. Your just moving without overthinking needs a check. You need a balance of someone who will give you, who
Volition.
holds the practical, as opposed to you just moving without giving it too much thought and all of that. And so coming to terms with the fact that this person is not just a personal blessing to me, but if I'm actually going to walk far and not burn quickly, because you can go fast and burn out quick.
That's right.
If you're going to go far and not burn out quick, you're actually going to have to let this person's gifting, this person's wiring be your anchor, be what holds you down when you're doing go, 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 I'm going up and down. Like I always tell people, I could just literally get up now and say, I am traveling today, pack my bag and go. Like I don't even have to look back. I don't have to say, what are they going to eat? Are they going to be alive? They will be alive because they have a father who is over capable
Mm,
of handling. I've never had to worry about my children if I have to go anywhere. Like I've never had to worry about them. Never. From the beginning of so from when they were much younger. Because he can take care of them, he can handle them, he can. So when you say true partnership, yeah, definitely true partnership without me ever having to worry about anything. Yeah.
that speaks to the both of you actually spoke to the multiplication effect we are talking about, right? Because I mean, like, we are here not only for partnership but fulfillment and success of everything that God has committed into our hands
Yeah.
individually and even as a team. I love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah.
I think that I'll pass this question to Shaya first, and then
Okay.
yeah, this one is in what ways have you felt seen? You know, like the way God sees you. You get what? If you get that context that I mean, like, in what way have you, true as your spouse truly made you feel seen in your vulnerability, and how did that moment deepen your intimacy?
Honestly, I feel seen every day. I mean,
Hmm.
I never feel unseen. You see what I
Wow.
mean? My husband talked about something I'm like, now wow. Every single person that knows my husband knows that he has his wife, knows what the wife is what the wife does. The
Hmm.
part the best part of the wife. You know when somebody's your hype man
Hey,
everywhere you turn. So I've never felt
Mr.
on,
Lakule, my head is swelling on your behalf.
Oh, me,
you know, I've
oh.
never I've never felt unseen. I've always felt if I overseen. Like I never feel like I don't matter or I don't have value. In fact, sometimes I used to wonder that this man, I hope is that not you're not somebody else you're seeing because is it me, that you are referring to? Because he definitely makes me feel seen all the time. He brings out even um the things that I don't know that I carry. See what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's one that will say, my wife, she's this, she's that, yes. So that's it. I always feel seen.
I love that. And I really mean that my head is really swelling. I love when I usually pass questions like this to women first because it always seem or social media make it seem like, women are not seen in their marriages. But now that we can hear it from a woman like yourself saying that I feel seen every day. So she can't even single out a specific, scenario or situation, meaning that this is how we live. Don't you just love that? Anyways, okay, let's go to Mr. Olakunle. Can you tell us, and I don't tell us that every single day. We want to hear one scenario.
No, so pretty much that's a generic answer for the two of us,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Because for me, I tend to want to be in the background at times. So, like I said, you go be saved. That's fine. That's your ministry. That's the calling, right? And have absolutely no qualms. Just shouting, like you said. Everybody knows. I talk about my wife like I don't know. Now that I'm speaking, I don't know
Mhm.
whether it's a feel good thing or it's a feel good factor. It's just something that makes me feel good just to say, hey, this is my wife. This is what she does. This is her, I'm very okay with that. I'm going to use a word, a Yoruba word, and I don't know the translation. I like to polongo, you know.
Shout on the rooftop.
Announce.
Shout on,
Yeah,
announce exactly.
yeah.
Shout on the rooftop. On
But
the rooftop. On the rooftop.
polongo sounds so nice.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
the Polongo sound, right?
yeah.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. And to young men out there, like you can obviously hear, like, this is the true joy of marriage, right? Because earlier today I saw a couple, you could obviously see that they are not acting, that thing, you cannot act it, and I love the way I'm hearing both of you speak, about one another. I just love it. Young men, come and learn from Mr. Olakunle. By the way, he just celebrated his 50th birthday. He's looking 40, but we
Oh,
all
at least
35.
you've changed. Now you're going low. You started from
15.
15 to 40 now to say,
No, you see, because I'm just, people will think I exaggerate if I say, 15, but just let's even look at it like right now. For when I saw on Cheya's page and she was saying, oh, happy 50th birthday to me, I'm like, what's she talking about? Like
yeah.
seriously,
Don't worry,
but
I get
yeah.
that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just so when a 50-year-old gives you an advice, you better open your ears,
Mhm.
and listen.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so I'm just thinking, should I ask question with specific scenarios again? But yes, let me say that, looking back, what is the boldest personal dream you have pursued after getting married? And I intentionally asked this question because there is a misconception or there's a line of thought or a school of thought that feels like both couples must be pursuing one vision at a time. Like they should be pursuing and you know we talk about it like it is more of uniformity than we are speaking to unity. Do you get what I
Mm,
mean?
mm, mm.
So if unity is a preference for you, I want to hear it in this question. Or is it that we just must always be uniform, wear the same dress, matching pajamas at Christmas, that's or
Now,
so what is the
um,
boldest personal dream you pursued after getting married, and how did your spouse, should I even ask this one? Because let me still ask, how did your
Ask.
spouse support you to make it possible?
yeah, so like I said, you've asked some pretty easy questions. You'll get to the tough ones, and there's no hiding under we're not making it seem as if it's all rosy and dandy and
Mm-hmm.
nice, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Just to put that out there. But for me, this was an easy one. Or this is an easy one. Um, Back in Nigeria, when I resigned from so I've been at a job for like 7 years,
Mm,
and I've gotten tired of, which is rare, because I love what I do or what I did then as an architect, just designing buildings. But I'd been at this firm, and it was just exhausting going to work. And for me, once I'm doing something and there's no joy in it, it's time to move,
mm,
right? And I didn't move around easily. And I remember so I resigned without even planning for the next step, right? And then the opportunity came to start my own consultancy. So that was a major one. And I think she was pretty busy trying to further her studies. I can't remember exactly what she was doing, but just knowing that I had her full support, because, leaving a paid employment to uncertainty of a business world or professional consultancy services. And I think all the while and through that, I always knew that, she had my back. I had her support. Yeah. In summary, that's it.
awesome. What about you?
Isn't mine is very interesting because I do both things every day. Okay, so because I do bold things every single day of my life, of my existence, is bold. And so that's easy. My husband, he wants me to be bold, right? So he supports me in the boldness. Whatever I bring, I can bring up the craziest ideas. And he's just like, do you enjoy your life? How can I help? But the one that I felt was a little, my husband believes that you should be bold. Okay. And then so I said that I wanted to resign my job when I was working 9 to 5 and actually stay home and work from home and take care of the kids. My husband always, he believes that, oh, your future is bright. You should, pursue big things. And then so even though he didn't understand the reasoning behind why would you be thinking of living like how brilliant you are, how this, and then you say you want to go and take care of children. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I made it work one way or the other. I didn't not like I sat at home and not do anything. But just that idea of making that shift from the expected in that time,
Hmm.
which turned out to be the best thing for our family in any case, But at that time, I knew that most of those looking at me like, why would you want to resign? Yeah,
So to chip in there,
yeah.
that was one of the most difficult circumstances in our marriage for me, because one, I didn't when we got married, I didn't see her that way. I didn't know she had that ministry calling, right? Let me put it in perspective. Where she started working then, one of the largest insurance firms back home, her contemporaries, colleagues with her, managing directors, or executive directors, right? And when she was going to take that decision, in my head, I was like, but I heard
Really?
God say, support her.
Hmm.
That is tough. But one thing I've always prayed to God has always been, just help me be able to follow. Like I said, it's not easy. I'm not coming here to say, oh, the Lord said support her, and immediately I just said, hey, yeah,
Jumped on it.
and yeah, But I knew I heard clearly. It wasn't so loud. It was just that nudging, and it wasn't once. It was just support her. So when I say, or when she says, "Oh, I'm always bolongoing her," and all that, that was my way of reinforcing the instruction that I had.
Hmm.
Look, even if it wasn't going to be easy at the onset, even if there are going to be challenges all the way, But if it was what the Lord had said, and it was, yeah, so I guess that's it. It
Mhm.
wasn't easy, yeah, right, but that was what helped me adjust.
Okay, so with respect to this, maybe I should ask a next question with respect to conflict, right? What is the okay? Let me not put this way because you probably had said that, but um, how quickly do you typically request and grant forgiveness after a disagreement or something that you both are not on the same page with? And what is the biggest obstacle to shortening that time?
Okay, let me start by saying that I believe that conflict is important. You
Mm-hmm.
everybody, otherwise both of you are going to be heading into the bush, right? So you need to disagree sometimes because we need to have different perspectives sometimes, right? But I think that the what's that word now? The boundary is to have some things that you will never do. So if you're ever in conflict, these are the things we never do. For example, you don't insult each other, you don't call each other
Mm,
names, you don't demean each other, you don't put each other down because you're in a conflict moment, right? No matter how heated the conflict will be, you will never pull the other person down or make them feel less of themselves, that kind of thing. That would be, so that's like the number one rule in quotes,
okay.
right? Of having conflict and having it well. But I think that offering forgiveness, I think so I remember very well when I met my husband and we just started being in a relationship, a friend of mine said something to me very profound. She said, when people disagree, it does not mean that they have to end things. You know, my previous experience before that time was if people are disagreeing, everybody should go there. Nobody has time for this. And then she said, and that thing really, really, it stuck with me so much because I was like, I don't understand. So there's a different way to disagree that does not generate into separation. So meaning, when you're having a conflict, it is understanding perspectives of each person. What is the issue we're trying to resolve here? It's not
Mm,
the people that are the problem, that are the issue. It is the problem. So to remember that we together, we is us against the world. We're not fighting each other. We are fighting a
mm,
situation. We are resolving something. Let's resolve the thing. It's not about us breaking down communication and all that. So even though you may be angry, everybody will go, okay, whatever. You will come back. Like it's not to be angry and go away. You will come back. No matter how angry you are, how upset you are in the moment, you know that you are going nowhere. And I
mm,
think having that as your base for resolving conflict is a big deal. Because you're not fighting each other to separate. You're just resolving it's just a conflict, which you will resolve. You see what I
mm.
mean? And that is very helpful in my own perspective in terms of being quick to forgive or to move forward quickly when there are issues that that come up. Yeah.
Quick to forgive. I love that.
Yeah.
Mr. Kule, do you have any words with respect to that?
Yeah, I'm going to trans, so I'll be practical
Mhm.
and spiritual, but not too preachy about this.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, so two key things. One is probably hereditary. So growing up, my mom was a very forgiving person, and I saw
Mm,
that everywhere in marriage generally. So my mom will have people hurt her, and then she will say, "Oh, Modari G, is that yeah? I forgive you, right? Yeah."
Mhm. Mhm.
mm,
She will say, and I would sit in a corner. I used to be upset. I used to be like, Mom, and I'll go back to it later, but these people, they did stuff to you. Why you? I was a melancholy growing up, chicken little, the sky is going to fall, on your head. And
mhm,
so at times I would just sit in a corner, stewing in my emotions and all that, right? But as you grow older and you look around you, so yeah, my mom would say, and that I guess impacted me a lot. But then, secondly, and most importantly, when you come to understand the principle of forgiveness, as the Bible preaches and says, is that Christ, it's a major, it's the main issue. I read a book once, or it was an account once of this, man of God who very good with the Lord, great ministry, and then he had a disagreement with his wife, major disagreement with his wife. I think it turned a bit physical, which was the first time that would happen. And
Mm.
so he got upset, got into his car, drove out of the house, had an accident, and died. Yep. And this was his account. And so when he dies, he goes straight to the burning flames, so to speak. Meanwhile, the wife that, so they had put his body in the mortuary, the wife that he had a disagreement with is back home in the mortuary, standing in front of mortuary and praying to God and saying, there's no way this man is going. You know, there's no way. But there, the Lord meets him and speaks to him and says, this is how powerful unforgiveness is, right? One of the things that causes people to miss heaven the most is unforgiveness.
Forgiveness. Mm.
Yeah, and for me, my wife knows me. I said, me, I fear God. Oh. If you ask me what is my number one priority, I want to make heaven.
Mhm.
So, if no matter what happens, if forgiveness is what will lead to heaven, right? You get it. No
Kashina,
matter what,
do you
no
know what
matter,
that is?
yes, no matter what the issue is, and maybe later also I'll also go into some other things that has helped me, but pretty much that is it. Just knowing that there's no uh, neither or either, it is forgiveness. And then, of course, at night, I want to sleep well, right?
Hmm.
So, knowing that we have forgiven, usually when we have a disagreement and we go to bed, I have this test that I always tell people, and this is the first time I'm putting it out there in public. Two people on the bed, they are facing the different sides
No,
of,
officer, not facing.
facing the different sides of the wall. I
Yeah.
have what I call the touch test. You move your hand slowly or your leg gently, and then you just touch. If there's a spring or a recoil, you know that or it is said too. you
It's still
you know
there.
that the issue is still there.
I'm trying not to laugh really hard.
Yeah, please laugh really hard. But it's a research I've done and a test. But if there's
No
just
resistance.
stillness, then you know that at least there's
Danger
that
zone.
women don't like to say sorry.
Mm.
I'm sure you know that too.
Mm.
Women don't. This is studies and research. I found out very late, but as soon as I found out, I realized. So they won't come out to say I'm sorry, but they will find other means. So as soon as I know what her method of saying sorry is, that's it.
Hmm.
I've packed a lot in that, but I guess the summary is like I said.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. I don't want to live in any form of unforgiveness. Nah, nah.
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh wow. This one, if I say I love that, like I've been saying it, this one passed, like I see a lot of intentionality on the journey of both of you. I hear where you said number one is that I'm accountable to God. I always tell singles the priority is that that person fears God. It's
Yeah.
not just go to church. It's not just praying for the roof to come down and vibrating
Mm.
on account of prayers. Is that we have godly character, and the
Mm.
character for you is like, I fear God, like I'm accountable to God, in this matter. So it regulates how you act. And I also love how you said that understanding how the other person not only sort of say they're sorry, but also understanding how they respond when they still feel like this issue is unresolved. And I think that that's a great one that a number of us don't I don't know, pay attention to. It's always, and that's what shows a lot of selfishness in people's life, because if you are selfish, you don't care how they feel, right?
Yeah.
You don't care how to even touch their leg.
Mm.
Sleep and let me sleep, tomorrow morning you'll be all right. It's just
No,
a
no, no,
level of
no,
insensitivity,
no, no, no,
right?
no, no.
Yeah.
But let's
So
sleep.
I love how that sounds, and I can go on and on, but let me just
Sorry,
save the rest.
I didn't finish that story.
Okay,
So
go
yeah,
ahead.
because the woman kept praying, and then
Okay.
the Lord spoke to the man, told him how important unforgiveness was to share that story, and he did come back to life. He was actually in the mortuary. The mortuary started moving in the mortuary, and people, ran away. But and he and the wife spoke about it, and they just realized,
Mm.
like I said, if we know how how deeply God sees forgiveness and
Mm.
not for, and it's not even my wife. Just generally, that's like my
Yeah.
philosophy in life. I find it
You can move
difficult
forward
to,
quickly.
yeah, take offense, and if I have issues with people, I just try and settle it generally.
Oh.
Unforgiveness is, oh, it's a killer. Yeah.
Wow. You say I have issues with like just the oh God, it's good to have a good heart. I'm
Mm.
like it's one of my great prayers, one of my greatest prayer in this life is God help my heart
Mm.
because I think it starts from there.
Yeah.
And I love how Shea also mentioned the fact that there's something she said I wanted to put a spotlight on, but I just it just keep my mind. Okay, let me
Mm.
just but I mean like you made a point that also sort of pointed in that direction. Yes, it is us against the world. We are
Oh,
not
yeah.
against ourselves, right?
Mm.
And I think that if that is really deep rooted in our heart, like it is us against the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're not fighting to finish. I
Yeah.
think that it helps us address conflict better. Thank you so much for sharing that. Um so let me ask this one, maybe comical or whatever. What's the silliest argument that you have ever had? Don't worry, we won't take sides,
Every
just tell
day.
us.
We argue about the serious things ever. Why
Mm.
whose place is this one? Why is that plate not white? Why is it pink? Run because we play a lot. We play a lot.
Mm.
We're always playing, right? We're always playing.
She's a troublemaker. That's
Exactly.
her middle name,
Wow.
Ijeogbon. Yes.
We are
Wow.
always playing.
She likes to find trouble where there's no trouble. So
We play around a lot. Like so we make jokes about everything. Everything. My husband could be lying down on the carpet. I'll just go and stand on him and say, "What if I put
Oh.
my leg on you right now?" And start poking him. Like so we always having silly arguments. Silly arguments is about meeting him every time.
Mm.
Like it's such a for me, it's not arguments that are like intense or anything. It's just like we're just messing around basically. So it's not like a serious thing. It's not like we are arguing just to argue. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm trying to say? Sometimes we're
Yeah.
just making fun. It's just fun. Even as a family with the kids. Sometimes I come from church on Sunday, it could be me. I'm the one that is always the brunt, the one that everybody's roasting in the car. Like, they say, mommy, that's what mommy is always doing. That day is my own. Sometimes it's my own that everybody's roasting. So it's just a thing of joy to be able to, like banter, back and forth banter without any hard feelings. We finish it, everybody moves forward, and we keep going. We keep it going. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. You guys are interesting couples. But there's a question that somebody asked you, one of the people that registered for the event asked, and I want to ask you that now. The person says that how do you guys balance spirituality and also
oh, you're breaking.
Yeah, internet.
If you can hear us, we've lost you.
okay. Can you still hear me now?
No, it's kind of hanging.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're back now. So can you repeat the question?
Okay.
Can you
I
repeat the
sort
question
of
now?
just okay, let me go back there. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. We'll
Awesome.
see you later.
Okay.
Okay, now we can see you. Okay, we can
Hmm.
hear and see you. So
Awesome.
we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you guys balance the person is asking the question, how do you balance spirituality ministry and your marital intimacy without one outweighing the other?
Hmm.
Mm,
I
I,
think I think that honestly for me, you cannot be spiritual if you have no wisdom.
Hmm.
Your spirituality is not spirituality if don't have wisdom. Like wisdom is should be a byproduct of spirituality, right?
I
That
am.
shows you how to what kind of spiritual person are you if you don't know how to relate well with honestly, we don't have issues when it comes to intimacy, when it comes to I don't know, my mom was have something to say, I don't know. But
Yeah.
my spirituality is strengthened by intimacy. Are you joking? It's
Hmm.
You see, I don't know if you did further maths in school, right? Those who did further maths, there's something that's called differentiation from first principles, dy dx. You see, that spirituality is the intimacy,
Exactly.
and the intimacy is the
It's
spirituality.
spirituality.
Now, can you?
Hmm.
So, very simple example: Songs of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
See, the day I read that song, no, no, I've been reading the Songs of Solomon, but the day I understood, the Songs of Solomon, ah, then God is an awesome God. God has a sense of humor. Nothing in the Bible is placed there, just for placing sake, right?
Mm.
Mm.
So that's it. Once you understand the depth of being spiritual and being intimate, which is what God created us,
Mm.
then they're intertwined. There's
Yeah.
no separation of.
Yeah.
Um,
When I'm not constantly thinking, oh, am I spiritual if I'm doing this? Or I'm not constantly thinking that. I think just a flow
yes,
out of the way we live our
it's
lives.
like a
Yeah.
Venn diagram.
Mm.
Spirituality and intimacy come together, and then in that circle
Intersects.
point they intersect. What do we call that middle?
Intersection.
No, it's what I'm trying to spirituality and intimacy, joy, peace in the Holy Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Exactly. Like it's like a no-brainer,
Fine.
Yeah.
honestly. It's a no-brainer. If you're a spiritual person, then I feel that it's you can't have true spirituality if one area of your life is lacking.
Hmm.
You know,
But
I
is
believe
it
that
possible? Is it
yeah.
possible for because now it is sounding so easy,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that honestly, I know that it could be easy. Like
Mm.
it's not like it can be easy, but it's just that then how, and I don't want to ask you this question because it's not directly to you, but how come it's now so hard for people to implement even though we know these things? Like, because like I remember one of my guests, very powerful, couple was just sharing on how people are just busy, and the summary of what I hear her say was just that people are religious, right? Because if you are truly spiritual, how does your father not tell you that you don't raise your voice on your spouse, or you just did something silly and it's saying you didn't represent me there. Like I've
Mm.
had a scenario where my spouse had done something and I was just raging, and the Holy Spirit just said that you did not represent me, and I'm like,
Mm.
wow, like, but I'm not the one wrong. He said, yes, you are right, but you did not represent me in your response. So I'm
Mm.
just like, I think that people, why is it that we have separated spirituality from godly character? Do you
Mm.
get what I mean?
Yeah.
We could just speak to that.
Yeah.
So it's not about being easy, but being intentional.
Hmm.
And I could break that down into so many subsets, right? But it's just being intentional. What do you want from this? What does God say about this? Again, anytime I speak, I would relate to the Bible as foundational principles, but I always like being practical because you use the word just now. A lot of us are spiritual, but so how do people? What's that fine line in being spiritual and yet applying? Let me put it this way: a lot of us, by reason of our culture and background, are just spiritual.
Religious.
Religious. Sorry, that's the word, not spiritual. Are
Religious.
religious. Oh, okay.
Mm.
Well, I don't know if
Yeah.
she's.
Should be able to hear.
I
Can you?
can
Okay.
hear you. I'm
Okay,
going
beautiful.
off.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I just religious, and to be honest, I was like that because from back home in church, where again culturally we're religious, and it takes being having an open mind, being open-minded to be able to. Um, and I'm kind of struggling with this because it's a difficult conversation, right? Being able to say, oh, besides being religious, is this what the Lord really wants?
Mhm.
Is this the practical way to live life?
Mm.
And we have examples of people who have lived a certain way. For example, from back home and coming to over here, right? Two different cultures
Mm.
where yes, people might be religious, but it is practical,
Mm.
right? So again, like I said, it's just been intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, something you said that people, I think that sometimes we don't think of what does God want for me as a person?
Mm.
What does God want for me as a person? Or what does God want for us as a family? And so we follow the bandwagon. You volunteer in church. You spend all your time volunteering in church. You spend all your time praying with people. You spend all your time doing what you call ministry. Who sent you?
Mm.
Whose work are you doing? Because it cannot be the work of the Lord that you're doing that prevents you from spending time with your family or raising your children well or having a great marriage. Because if it
Mm.
was truly the Lord's work, then you would have received wisdom from the Lord telling you you're doing nonsense. I didn't send you. What are you doing? The Lord will literally nudge you and send you back and say, go
That's
back home
right.
today. You're going nowhere. Shut down everything down and go and spend time with your husband. Like it is such a beautiful thing to be in sync with the Holy Spirit, not to have a preconceived idea of how ministry should be done or this how we behave when we're in ministry. Who told you that?
Mm.
Whose life are you living? Are you living the life that God told you to live,
Told you to.
or are you just doing things based on people's expectations of what ministry should look like or what a career should look like? I think that knowing for us that from the beginning that our values are similar. What do we want as a family? What are our values here? If anything struggles against, or if anything fights against, or if anything is going to stand in the way of our family, our marriage and our children do not go. They don't give.
Mm.
What gives is everything else. Okay? Everything else gives. Everything else in terms of work. If a job does not align with what we say as a family, immediately we're thinking of a way out. We're not even waiting to say, oh, the money is good. We're already immediately, someone will say, this job, I don't know. Why is it like this? These hours are too. Immediately we start to rethink this job and saying, no, listen, this cannot be the will of God for us. It is
Mm.
such a big deal to know where God has called you to, where you're going, because anything that does not align with where you're going should be removed. So your intimacy with your spouse, raising your children well, having a great family, a great marriage, all those things are God's will. So if you don't have them because you are too busy, then it's time to actually go back to God and say, God, show me the wisdom here. Because
Mm.
definitely I'm doing something wrong. I shouldn't have to struggle to have, yeah, I shouldn't have to struggle. Yeah.
And I love how you went there. My next question was going to be on it with respect to boundaries, and you already went in that direction. I'm not sure if there's something else I want to hear there, but I
Mm,
just, of course, I've also hear people, like I do a lot of counseling and coaching, especially with respect to marriage, and I hear people, just unable to draw boundaries in their lives individually as a couple in marriages. So basically, is that while thinking of that, I my question was just going to ask you, with respect to how do you know how do I ask that question without repeating what you just said? I don't want you
No,
to
no, I,
repeat
I
what you
have
just
something
said.
to say about boundaries, that is kind of
Okay.
different from what we said so far. I think boundary is an identity issue. Your ability to
Mm.
draw boundaries is an identity issue, right? If you have unresolved issues in your life, you are not going to be able to draw boundaries. So if you're a people pleaser, for example,
Okay.
if you are this kind of
Okay, so
person
let me
who,
let me let me let
yeah,
me let me ask you to hold it, and then let me ask the question, and then we go
okay,
in that direction. So my
okay.
question was going to say that in what ways have you had to tend and keep, like you said, it's us against the world. In what ways have you
Mm,
had to tend and keep your marriage relationship itself, protecting it from tons and tistles of the
issues.
outside worlds? Either
Yeah.
it's your career, the societal expectations, even in-laws sometimes, because sometimes sincerely they mean well in their heart for you, but in what ways have you had to just tend and keep to your marriage and tend and keep your marriage relationships?
Hmm. I think just this idea of knowing that, I don't know, there's no, what's that word now? There's no other option. There's no other option but to
Mm.
actually have a great marriage. It's like I'm
Mm.
in it for life. I can't suffer through I cannot be suffering for many years. It's what I mean. So you better be enjoying it. And so we do everything that we can do we keep recalibrating. If something doesn't work, we change. We
Mm.
don't we don't just feel like we have to be stuck on something. No. If it's not working, we fix it. If it's not moving, we want to move, we change. We don't just let it go, let it slide. Like we protect it with our very lives because this is our life. We're going nowhere else. Like this is the only life we have to live. Whether it's in our marriage, raising children, having a family, it's the only life that we have to live. And so we have to enjoy the life. I believe in enjoying life. I don't believe in struggling. I don't believe in managing. I don't believe in, being unhappy. Yeah.
Let me just
Yep. I
enjoy
don't
this
believe in
one
being
life.
unhappy. I like soft life. Okay. And part of soft life is having a great marriage. I can't be coming home every day and I'll be miserable. That I can't live like that. So for me, that's
Hmm.
my number one motivation. Like I want to have a great life. And my marriage is a major part of that great life. So I have to guard it with everything I have within me.
Yeah.
Boundaries, of course. I put boundaries there. Something is threatening my marriage. You go out the window. We don't play. Like I'm not
You
even
don't
trying to
play.
be nice. I don't play about something that is threatening my marriage or my peace or my joy. We just remove it straight off. And I'm talking about boundaries, about identity. If you don't deal with the issues that you have unresolved, you
Hmm.
cannot truly you can't have boundaries in your life because you're still going to be struggling to please people. You're going to be struggling to, fill your life with activities, thinking you're doing a great job. You want people to say, wow, she's such an amazing person. Right now, I actually don't care. I don't care what you think about me. Like, am I doing the Lord's will? Yes. Am I doing my best? Absolutely. Anything else, I can be bothered. Yeah. So, it's easy for me to draw boundaries when I know that I'm pleasing my Father in heaven.
Hmm. I love how you went into that space of identity. Just this morning, I was seeing a conversation around someone saying that, I'm like, I've always known this, that your significant experiences, your environment, and also your parenting, right? How you were
Mhm.
raised will definitely, FY in the building, but those things, contribute to who we have become. And if that identity will determine how we respond to conflict, how we communicate in the marriage environment, how we, respond to intimacy. There was a time in my life, for instance, when someone is just really showing too much love for me, I'm like, what? It's weird. What do you
What
want?
do you want?
Until I realized that it's something that we needed to heal. It's something that I needed to heal from, and I used to say this for singles who jump from one relationship to another. I just be like, okay, that one is gonna move to another person. I say, you see, you can only hide under a relationship for a while. At some point, you have got to deal with you. And I love the identity question that came on board as you spoke about that. Thank you so much. So let me just take Mr. Olakule's response to that, to
Mhm.
boundaries. The way it was just quiet like that. I like wisdom of 50, right?
My mama that
you
sent
know,
someone packing from a restaurant
I
before for
keep talking
boundaries.
about it because me too, I'm looking forward to 50. So let me just be talking, because
Interesting story.
Let Jesus hear me, the heavens and the heads. Like, dear Lord, I'm looking forward to 50, 60, 70, 80. Wow, I want, yeah, and
100,
enjoy
120.
my life, like Sheye said. I just want to be enjoying. I can't be coming home and be hearing noise. No, I want to enjoy my life and enjoy
Mm-hmm.
the years that I'm here. So respond to the boundary question, and then we take the last question for the day.
Yeah, so not much to add, which is why I was looking at, because you had pretty much said everything. You set your boundaries and you live by those boundaries. And not just that, you also allow the people around you to know the boundaries that you have set. Because
Yes.
you can build a house, right? You put a fence, you put a gate. If the gate is not locked, anybody can open and come in.
Mm-hmm.
But if the gate is locked,
Mm.
they need to knock or press the bell before they come in. So what
Absolutely.
people know your boundaries, right? And growing up, I had a lot of relatives that had no boundaries, and I saw the effect of that. For me, I listen from the onset. I'd say, God, you see my heart. I want to have a happy marriage. I don't want to come home every day. I'm driving home every day. I'm I'm just thinking, wait, I'm going to that house again. Oh Lord, I'm sad because I'm going home. The day that ever happens, God forbid, no, it will never happen, uh, right? But That's just it. Once you set your boundaries and everybody knows what your boundaries, the same way God has given us boundaries and expects us to walk by those boundaries,
Yeah.
even though we do walk outside those boundaries at times, and we say, God help us. So yeah, that's just it.
If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Set your boundaries and make it known. You didn't enter Canada just to say that, oh, Canada, here I come. Like, okay, I know Sheye is a daughter of a former governor, for instance. Just say, okay, my dad was a governor in Nigeria, so
Therefore,
let's
open the
just
door.
open the door of Canada. No, you still went through the visa process. So
Yep.
everybody must know that these are your boundaries and they must be able to stick to your boundaries. And there are no imaginary boundaries.
Yeah.
Communicate the boundaries that you have I love it.
Mm.
In fact, thank you so much for sharing that. The last but not the least question. If you were to offer your younger I do self one piece of advice on how to grow individually inside a marriage, what would that be?
Let her win all the time.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
See,
But
I didn't want to start with
uh,
that one. Just
that response looks a bit passive, passive aggressive in my
just
heart.
give her the trophy every time. Let her once you said anything, yes, I agree. You
Your
have
wife is always
won.
right.
Yeah, what the hell? That's the summary.
Like seriously, Shay, do you agree with that?
Yeah, your wife is always right, actually. But I'm always right. See,
No.
happy wife, happy life. That's it. But
Okay, we are still live, so I
happy
don't want
wife,
to
happy
laugh
life.
too
Yes, we
much.
know that too.
Yeah.
We know that one. But on a more on I mean on a more serious note, younger self, on how to grow individually in the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, exactly. Marriage is part of soft life. I know, I agree. Having the desire to understand who you are as a person. It's such a big deal. People go into marriage, they don't know who they are, they don't know their own personal identity, what God has for them as individuals. So that way they can know what God has for them as a family, right?
Mm.
And so what happens is people get lost in anything. So it's not even only marriage. It's why people get lost even in church.
Mm.
They think that the only thing that they are doing
Where did
is
you just
just
put
one
your hand,
step.
sir? We are seeing you. You are not.
Yeah, you can see, that
Sorry, I didn't hear you said.
I'm just saying hello. I
you
said
say
hello.
you say anyway. So people get lost in things because they didn't know themselves before, and so easy for them to diffusion. Everything just mixes together because they don't know
Mm.
who they are. That's why people
Mm.
go to church and they overserve, right? They don't know that, oh, because if your life was busy and you had things you were doing that Lord had called you to do, you know that this is the portion of time I can allot for this thing, and then you allot it for that thing, right? Because you don't have all the time in the world. But when you don't know yourself, you don't know your purpose, you don't know your journey, you don't know where you're headed, it's easier for you to get lost in even
Mm.
in marriage, right?
Mm.
It's why people then cannot allow their spouse to breathe because you're basically intertwined. You have no personality of your own. Everything is about both of like you can't do anything on your own. Nobody should live like that. I think that for individuality to really really thrive in marriage is an understanding of yourself in God. Who has God called me to be? Who am I? So that way you can walk in your own purpose and walk in a collective family purpose. Because when you don't know yours, you're going to be feeling angry, bitter, resentful that you are lost in that
Mm.
marriage. And
Mm.
there's no need to feel resentful and angry if you're actually walking your purpose and doing what you're supposed to do.
I agree with everything she has said.
Because I'm
Totally.
always right.
Sela.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Okay, okay, I love that. But I'm going to throw one question to you, Mr. Lakunle, because the way you are now, and then I'll one more
Again.
question too for Mrs. Olusheye for what you just said. In fact, now let me even ask Sheye my question first. Let me
Mm,
put it this way: like if you sort of now like your husband said, you're always right, or just I agree with
that's
everything he
not true
said.
though.
How do you, as a woman, and I know that it doesn't mean that literally,
Mm,
but it probably is contextual. But
mm,
even at that, how do you, as a woman, just really understanding that this man does not like trouble, this man, one of my mentors will say something like, the love language of my husband is peace. You know,
Hmm.
now knowing that that's who your spouse is, how do you maintain the balance? Just really being the one fueling that part of his life, not really saying because someone says, oh, you're right, and then they respect and defer to certain things with respect to you. How do you create the balance and just
Yeah.
be the woman that shows up for their man and ensure
Hmm.
that his love language, that is peace, is supported, and
It's still peaceful.
in that room. Yeah.
I think that I like use this scenario. If you went to visit your friend and you found them doing something, maybe there's an event coming up, they're trying to cook, they're trying to do stuff and all that. I always say that, will you, oh, can I help you? That's a reasonable thing to do, right? Can I help you? And then, so of course, maybe as they're cooking, both of you are doing it together and all of that. And so I always say that. Why is it that in marriage, we don't translate that? Don't
Hmm.
you like your spouse? What exactly is the problem? Is that just what I mean? Like, if I like my spouse, I'm not even saying love, because that's a given, right? If I truly delight in this person, why would I not want them to be happy? Why would I want to steal their peace, the thing that gives them joy? My desire will be to do everything within my power to make this person happy. If it's peace the person wants, I can pass across my whatever I need to say. So if there's anything that we need to do, sometimes I may insist on us resolving it, right? But I also know that it's not everything that will be resolved now, now, now. Some things that I would leave and come back to. Because peace is the watchword. And so in the conflicts, we think about the fact, or in the whatever, in whatever you're trying to do, pass across information, it is what is the most important thing here, that I am right and I insist on that I'm right, or that there's peace. It's not everything,
Hmm.
even with raising children, it's not every issue you raise at every time. There are some times when we raise some issues, and those issues are, what's that word now? I'm not needed. Like, I'll raise it later because of peace in the moment. But to think that being right is supersedes the peace, that's not true. The peace
Hmm.
should trump my being right. There are times when you
Might
keep
be
quiet.
right.
Even when you're right,
Absolutely.
you keep quiet.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. My peace should trump, or the peace in the home, not even my peace. Our
Yeah.
peace should trump my being right in the home. And I love that. So that my question now to Mr. And I wanted to really ask, because I think you guys have teenagers already. I wanted to
Oh, yeah.
ask you the parenting question. Maybe I should just put that before I ask my final question for Mr. Olakunle only. But the question is basically like, with respect to raising children, I am aware one of the things I know that shapes our identity is who you have seen your parents. I've heard stuffs, and I know that you are also a coach or a counselor, and I know that your husband is a pastor. And did I just not read you guys' profile?
It's
Oh my
okay.
Don't worry,
God.
don't
Don't
worry,
worry.
don't worry, don't worry.
Oh
The
my
man
God,
is
I
Let's go
just
ahead.
qualified.
Let,
remembered that, you can
no, don't worry.
imagine.
Profiling, just go
Okay,
ahead.
but basically is that my what I wanted to ask is that I know that these things, I'm yet to see an individual who is in a relationship that is really traumatic, that is threatening, that is just not it at all. I'm yet to see an individual who is in such a relationship who was not raised in such environment. Honestly, if there
Mm,
is anyone, I want to meet them. I want to have conversation with them and to
mm,
really see it in assessments, in whatever. I'm yet to see anyone. Now, knowing fully well that we shape how our children see themselves and how they see marriage, what blueprints, or maybe what is one word or two words that you have that has shaped how you raise your teenagers? All your kids are teenagers already, right?
well, the young one is a preteen, but yeah, she's close.
Britain. Okay. So tell us, how have you been able to? Because I know if a kid, they're growing up seeing you now, they're already loving and looking forward to a fruitful marriage. My 8-year-old told me, last week, she was like, Mommy, the way you're just saying my book, that thing makes me feel somehow. Can you just stop it? I'm like, I'm not going to stop it. I needed to hear it. So tell me, like, how have what principles, what blueprints, maybe one, maybe each of you should share one that you
Mm,
have intentionally raised your kids to just know that we want you to know that marriages work, and we want to model the right marriage for you so that you can pass it down generationally.
mm,
Um, I'm trying very hard to summarize that. That's a question. That's a session question on its own, right?
Mm,
But the simple, not the simple, the answer that comes to my head now is just, um, do I say reskilling or relearning? For me, that's, and like I said, if I it's a very long question. If I start on that too, I had to relearn, right? I worked with teenagers for 9 years, and having done that, I thought it was going to be a piece of cake with my kids, right? So I had to really, I'm still, not that I had to, I'm still adjusting and adapting. So it's
mm,
relearning. There's a lot of relearning to be done. Like maybe on another time I can break that down, but that's just it, relearning.
mm,
I think that for me, I like to say to people that you underestimate the power of living a good life.
mm,
You underestimate the power of living a good life. So just living your life every day, a good life. So you have a good marriage, you're treating your spouse well, you're just living. So you're not even trying hard to say, I'm trying to teach my children how to live. That's not what you're doing. You're just living a good life, living your purpose, doing the will of the Father, you know, just being a good person, living a great life. We underestimate the power of that as a model for our children because they're watching.
mm,
They're actually not just watching what they're internalizing the atmosphere. They're internalizing the environment you've created. So you're creating a beautiful environment in your home where there's love, there's joy, there's peace, where your children can come and say whatever they want to say without fear, where there's joy, where they can just come and pull your legs, make no tease you, where your children can talk to you, have communication with you, where it's open. Your children can gist with you. Like that is such a
And
yeah.
they see us when we quarrel, they see
Mhm.
us when we
Resolve it.
resolve it, when we make fun,
Yeah.
when she's always disturbed doing her job more, right? They are there through, yes. They
that's
are
an indictment.
no,
It's okay. It's a
it's a
good
good
judgment.
indictment. It's a good indictment. So they see all of that. We're not hiding, we're not pretending. If I'm
That's
upset,
right.
they know. If she's upset,
Mm.
they know. We're not trying to, oh,
Mhm.
shush, 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 don't let them hear, don't let them know. They know at different stage how we, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so
Awesome.
powerful. To live a good life is a model on its own. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Modeling and always learning, reskill. This is how my parents raised us. It is your parents are, for some of us, our parents are even gone, But you learn and adapt to the situation that is coming on board. Some people can't raise children without reason, so recently, I was telling someone that, or I heard from someone that, how do you even hit a 3-year old that they did something wrong? Like it's the height of a discipline. And I'm like, oh, okay, so they don't spank a 3-year old. But basically, is that it's because we were spanked at 3, we felt it was okay to spank a 3-year old. And I'm sure that somebody is still watching me and wondering, why won't I spank them? You see,
Yeah.
it's because you took 40 years, 30 years to learn that thing. And now your brain or what's that? I don't know what they call that thing in the brain,
Amygdala.
has adjusted to right things. And then you want a 2-year old to adjust to what you adjusted to in 10 years. Come on. So I love how you say reskill, relearn, and also model. Modeling is a powerful tool, and I love how you said it. The last but not the least, to someone that is watching us and just really feeling like I think that either of both of you, if we can do 1 minute each, right?
Mm.
One should speak to singles, one should speak to the married couples, right? And anyone can choose any. Is that somebody watching to really feel like, is this married thing this easy? What should I be paying attention to live an Eden life as a single and as a married person?
Which one do you want to do?
Both
Okay.
married usually,
Yeah.
and I'll just summarize it again. These are very long sessional topics, but prayer.
Yeah.
I learned very early in marriage the power of prayer. So she gave me a book,
Wife or
Power of a
husband.
Praying Husband, and I never read it for so long. And then the day I decided to pick up that book, oh my God, I wrote a book on prayer based on that, and that's one of the major things the Lord taught me. When I'm angry with her, I'm praying for her. When we've had a quarrel, I'm praying for her. When I'm happy, I'm praying for her. When I'm not too happy, I'm praying for her. And believe you me, it helps. So we underestimate the power of that prayer because I do it
Hmm.
consistently and continuously and constantly, 3 C's, right? It's almost second nature to me. Like I said, we've had a quarrel just now. You go your way, I'm going my way. Day your day, make I day my day, right? Even in that, I'm still praying for her, right? Because
Hmm.
and the Lord has worked. This the phrase: the more you pray for someone, the more you love them.
Mm.
That that,
Hmm.
that's the whole thing. The more you pray
I
for someone,
love
the more you love
it.
them. Yeah, that's it.
I think that
Wow.
for me, yeah, I think I'd like to actually speak to both as well. So for me, if you're single, I would say that just let the Lord lead you. Pay attention. Like let the Lord be your focus. Because when you know Jesus, when you know the Lord, it's easier for you because you cannot know every scenario in the future.
Did I
You
lose
cannot.
you?
But when you have a relationship with the Lord, what happens is that He guides you into making the right decisions, even when you don't know what it could possibly be. But being totally aligned with the Lord will help you to live your life in a great way, whether it's in every area of your life, really. Your marriage is also included in that. So you focus your attention on Jesus. A deep and intimate relationship with the Lord will help you in every other area of your life. Second of all, for married people, is if you're watching and you're like, "Ah, I don't know, it just feels heavy for me, is to know that it's not too late to seek the answers you need. Don't struggle alone. Look for someone who can support you, who can help you to see a different perspective. Do what you can do, but don't be silent about your struggles because nobody's perfect. Everybody has their struggles. So don't feel a need to hide or be ashamed of what is going on in your life. Seek counsel. And I know that the Lord will help you. He'll give you the wisdom that you need to really make a great life out of your own journey as well.
Wow, it's been an amazing journey with both of you. And again, each time a couple is laid upon my heart to reach out to, and this comes, what I see all the time that we have had this meeting is people who are truly living and not acting a fruitful life. We are here to let everyone know that this married thing can be beautiful. Marriage can be enjoyable, right? It's not
Yes.
just to manage it. Ekpele, we can see that. Thank you. For those who don't understand Ekpele, it's well done. Like what they are doing to themselves. You are still on stage and you're still live.
Mm.
But basically is that we can enjoy this marriage, and I please like see this as this is not a one-off. Some people will say, there are just a few people here and there are a lot of people enjoying their marriage, just living the Eden life, having a fruitful life. And you can be that person, either you're married or single. Just ensure that you pay attention to what you should be paying attention to, because that thing you are not paying attention to is paying attention to you. And
To
your
you.
report card, you are gonna see it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. And I really appreciate your prayer for your marriage is that the wine will keep getting sweeter. In
Amen.
20 years' time,
Amen.
when we invite you back, it
Amen.
can only be better. You're going to tell us what you've done
Amen.
better and how that has evolved in what that
Amen.
has evolved into. God
Amen.
bless you. Do enjoy the
Thank
rest of your day.
you.
Thank you everybody
You
for
too.
joining. Thank you, Gracie Laurie, for your comments. F4, Sarah, Adefunke, Banke, Betty, everyone has been commenting, and Omolewa. Thank you so much. If I didn't mention your name, Moji, every one of you that's been commenting and encouraging us. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.
Join
Bye.
us again next month.